Is Dumbface in trouble? See, I've got a new Skeletor. In fact, I've got a couple new Skeletor. Let's do this. So for those that don't know, one of my all-time favorite figures in the entirety of the collection has somehow become Dumbface Skeletor. I love him. He's dumb, I love that face, he's goofy, and he just brings fun and joy to my life. Literally, he just does. Ever since I got him, I've enjoyed him. I've made comedy sketches with him. He showed up in videos here on this channel, like on the actual reviews. In fact, when I did the Snake Mountain review, when I talked about the Snake Mountain coming out, I used him. He's always in the background. He appears randomly in videos sometimes. If you're paying attention, I'll put him on the shelf and stuff like that on purpose. I love this guy. I don't know what it is, but I love him. He just brings endless hours of joy to my life. I don't know why. But the cartoon collection came out and released a new Skeletor. And maybe this is the best new Skeletor. I don't know in terms of Origins. And yes, I count the cartoon line as an offshoot of Origins. The figures are still close enough that I just see it the same way. However, I also picked up from Mattel Creations this thing right here. Skeletor and V-Friends. And this is the Skilled Skeleton and Skeletor 2-pack that came from that collection, that came from Mattel Creations in general. And he came with like multiple faces, so there's a possibility that he could easily become my favorite Skeletor in the collection. You could be in trouble. Let's check these out. Alright, so the first thing I want to do here is move Dumbface. Don't touch me! There we go. He's been moved. Now, we're going to start with him. I realize more than likely most of you are here for this, and I get that, but I thought that it was important to open him first because there's a variant of him in that pack, and I thought it would be important to see if you didn't buy the V-Friends pack, did you miss out? This was something that I honestly fought with myself about. I even did a video back when this guy was first coming out that I talked about the skeleton, and I was like, I'm not exactly thrilled about the little skeleton man, but I have to be honest with myself. If I got him, because all I want is a Skeletor, but passed on him and didn't get the faces, would I be making a mistake? Or are these basically going to be the same figures with slightly different paint apps, and it won't be that big of a deal that maybe they'll be releasing other cartoon Skeletors along the way that I'll probably be able to get the other faces? Well, I don't know, but I'm about to find out. First and foremost, we know the packaging has went back to single retro card, which is fine. That's been the look of the Origins line in general, and it seems to be the look of the new cartoon line, and I have absolutely no problem with that. It makes perfect sense. Right here on the back, we have a cross-sell, and I have He-Man, I have Beast-Man, I have Skeletor, I do not have Man-at-Arms, and I'm in no rush to get him. Not that he's bad in any way, I'm just not in any main rush to get him. Now, this Skeletor specifically comes with the Masks of Power from, you know, the episode Masks of Power, and it has a really cool artwork up at the top, and I'm really into it in general. That is really solid. As usual, the art for Masters of the Universe is a 100% standout reason to own the line in general, which now that they're releasing the art books, and I bought all 3 of them that I found so far, I no longer have to keep these with a fear that I will lose the artwork, which for me is a giant selling point of the line. Now that that's out of the way, and I got a whole bunch of space back from no longer having to hold on to a bunch of boxes, that's more Motu space for more Motu figures with more awesomeness, and I can put books on the shelf and enjoy the art whenever I want to. Let's open them. So this is the cartoon collection Skeletor. And I have to say, and I don't know what happened to this video, I'm going to be completely honest, I did a video back when I got Beastman and He-Man for the cartoon collection. I did that video. I recorded it, I edited it, I posted it. I have no idea what happened, but the video is no longer on my channel. There's no notice that it was removed or anything like that, so I have no clue what happened to it, but it's gone. That being said, I think that the bodies are better on these new cartoon collections. I mean, they're better bodies. There's better muscle work. I like that I could see a couple like veins. You probably can't even see this. I don't even know if I can get this on the camera. Maybe right there. You can see vein work on the muscles. That is impressive in its own right. You could see fold muscle right here, where kind of like the arm and skin pulls into the actual bicep, which is really interesting. So it goes up into the pec. You could see the folds of the muscles where the skin would pull. This is amazing. Their legs look better. The bodies are better than the bodies that we get on these. These bodies, to me, seem a little more exaggerated to me. Dumbface Skeletor, the Skeletors and whatnot, you could definitely see it in the arm. There's just like this hard bulge here because it's kind of like it's an exaggerated body, where these are more humanoid, buff bodies. Like the chest is more realistic. Yeah, it's still uber buff, but it's uber buff in a way that I can like buy into. Kind of like Masterverse. I like the Masterverse bodies over the original bodies and over the classics bodies because I can believe that muscle more than I can believe the muscle that I see in classics or the original line. And the cartoon variants are no different. I see it the same. The muscles feel more real to me, which helps the characters really stand out to me. I like that a lot. I think it's a big deal and it should not be understated. A big difference, cartoon collection, he has boots and they're simpler. They're simpler than the boots we would see or the feet we would see on Dumbface. Dumbface has these, he actually has like these monster feet, and there's a little more detail up around in here as opposed to the fact that he's just wearing boots. And I actually wonder, and I am not going to dig it out right now, but I will be digging it out to take pictures of it later, because I honestly think moves better. I think the legs move better. Like, you see what I'm getting at? This is a little easier to kind of move him around. Will he be able to sit in that bone throne? I don't know. It feels still like maybe his legs don't want to go all the way up enough to kind of make it work. But he might be able to sit in the bone throne easier than the Origins figures sit in the bone throne. He might look more natural. That face, that is a good Skeletor face. The only thing that would make it better is if that skeleton face right there glue in the dark a little bit. I will say I like the absolute blackness in the eyes. I think that's really cool. I like the way that the teeth kind of protrude and everything. And their teeth, by the way. That might not sound like a big deal, but their teeth. What I mean by this is that these are individually sculpted teeth. This face is far better than the face that we got here where the teeth are more kind of sculpted, painted. And then you're going to say something like, oh, well, if you'd had the other Skeletor, blah, 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 or whatever. Actually, no. The other Skeletors are just the same. In fact, the better head that most people like is right here, and it's in there, and it's the same kind of thing I'm talking about. It's got like this smile, or even this one with the grimace. You can see that the teeth are sculpted, but then they're highlighted because of the paint that's given to them. It almost looks like a stitch mark. You don't have that effect on this Skeletor. It's different. They rely on the actual sculpt itself to tell the story. It is a dang good head. Like, it is so good. I'm honestly impressed with this overall. Do I like this more? Not necessarily. I may actually like this armor more than this armor, but these are telling different stories. This is meant to be the cartoon. I've come across this many times where people will buy one of these figures, and in fact, I've seen somebody recently that bought this figure and was talking about it and was like, that's not the He-Man face that I grew up with. I really don't like this figure. I was hoping that he would look more like the toy from my past. That's not what he is. Why do people do that? I'm honestly confused why people buy figures like Cartoon Gambit, X-Men 97 Gambit, and then go, yeah, the other Gambit with the darker coat and yada yada was better. This one really looks like a cartoon. That's what you bought. It's what he is. This is Filmation cartoon Skeletor. And you know what? For what it's worth, I think I can see it. I think I can see it. That's him. I see the teeth. I see the absolute blackness and everything. That's simpler in terms of the way that this is as opposed to the artwork that you would see in something else. That's him. Like, it works for me. It is simplified. It's not the absolute end-all, be-all, but it works. I like this, too. That's probably a helpful thing because this little strap right here always comes undone and gives me a lot of problems with the other Skeletor. I like the hood more than I like this hood. I like that it comes down, folds right here, and comes out to a point where this one is just kind of like a hood. I like this. I like it a lot. Like, I like this a lot. Do I like it more than Dumbface? No. No, I don't. Not so far. So far, he does not beat my Dumbface Skeletor. My Dumbface Skeletor is still what I prefer in terms of these Skeletors. But that does not make him any less awesome. He came with 2 masks of power, which are pretty cool. And you could put these on him if you want. You could just pop the head off. It's very simple. It's like all the rest of them. And you just pop that on there. Like how I say that, and then I couldn't get it on there. There. And then he's got that head. Would I want that? No. Absolutely keeping him with the Skeletor awesome head. The other things that he came with is a Power Sword of Darkness, which is weird. Storyline-wise, for that figure, it makes sense for him to have a Sword of Darkness Power Sword. Not so much this one, whom in the cartoon, I never remember this in a single episode ever. Even one time. So I don't know why he came with this. I won't complain, but he has nowhere to keep it. And you get the idea. Like, I'm just saying it is a little strange. And he has the Havoc Staff. I think it's a little bigger than the other Havoc Staff was. And I like the fact that it's separated. It has the top here, which is the ram head, which has a different color than the other ram head that is on this staff, and I actually prefer that. I think that it helps it to stand out. This staff seems small to me, and always has. It's always been a problem I've had with the other Skeletor, where this looks like it's probably a bigger, more awesome thing. I'm going to get it in his hands here. I'm going to put it all the way down here, around like this. Now, you see the difference here, where he's standing with the staff and he's standing with the staff? This looks better to me if you are going to do a staff, my rule of thumb, and this is not perfect, but my rule of thumb for the staffs is look to the sorceress. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by look to the sorceress? I mean this. The staff, as a rule of thumb, for me, if you want me to believe in a staff, a havoc staff, an angry staff, a cool staff, a sorceress staff, a staff, just like the Z staff should be if you're going to sell a Lord Zed or anything. Staves. I know I keep saying the word staves. Staff. This should go all the way down. It should touch the floor. And should go all the way up a little past the head. That, to me, is a staff. That's when it stands out. That's when it seems right to me. And the only Skeletor I can think of... No, hold on. Masterverse did this with their Skeletor. Right there. That there is my favorite Skeletor that they have released ever. I just think he is the absolute coolest. This was the Barbarian Skeletor, and you can revert it to a classic look, and it is fantastic. And his staff goes all the way to the floor. It touches the floor, and it comes up slightly above his head. That's a perfect staff. It is not perfect here. Even if I was to mess with the arm and everything else and get it all the way down, it will not do what I want a staff to do. But all my nitpicking aside, this is solid. It is better than this one, and I do like it, and I do think this guy is cool. Now, let's move to the main event. Sorry if I kept you waiting and you were only here for one reason, but it's time to check out the V-Friends Masters of the Universe pack. Okay, so first off, let's check out the box. Here are the best friends doing the heart hands. This is so ridiculous. But I'm going to admit to you something. After I read this and got a look inside here, I have seen it. When this came to the house, my wife was like, oh, you got a package. We opened it, and she saw this, and she was like, what is that? And she opened it. Not opened it, but like opened the box part, and she looked inside there, and I was almost instantly like, all right, I'm sold. Like, just to put it out there before we ever go into this. We got the side right here. Pretty cool. We got Snake Mountain and everything. On the back here, we have, this is Skeletor right here. And this is Skilled Skeleton. And so that's one of the coolest things about this artwork is that at first glance, it looks like a Skeletor image. But it's not. It's the two characters. I thought that was really cool. Over on this side, we just got some Eternian tree stuff and whatnot. Nothing really on the bottom except for some information. And up at the top, it says Skilled Skeleton. This bony bro radiates the power of friendship, but can he really help Skeletor change his ways and become a leader for good? Questionable. Skeletor, the evil lord of destruction, wields the darkest power in the universe, havoc magic. Will it corrupt Skilled Skeleton and turn him into Skeletor's merciless minion? So, let's do it. There we go. We're opening them up. Okay. There. Awesome. Let me turn this back here. I have my monitor on. Let me turn that off so I can try to stop any form of glare and whatnot that's existing here. Now, as you noticed, this isn't pulling any further. I think it's stuck. I think it sticks this way. I think once you get to this point, you don't pull it any further. I think you'll break it. See what I mean? So I'm not gonna give that any worse. That's cool. I actually didn't see this. So on the back, there's a skilled skeleton and Skeletor just... It's awesome. On the top here, there's Skeletor and his new friend just hanging out, being V-friends or whatever. This is so ridiculous. He's got the little Shark Rider thing here, and then they're back. This is so unorthodox, but there's something genuinely fun and ridiculous and awesome about what I am seeing. And maybe that's the whole point. Maybe they knew that Masters of the Universe, and I said this many times, you can get away with anything in Masters of the Universe. If you want to play comedy, Masters of the Universe, you can do it. If you want to play serious Masters of the Universe, you could do it. If you want to play campy 1960s Batman Masters of the Universe, you can do it. And none of them are wrong. They're all right in their own way. In terms of opening it, yep, it looks like this slips out. There we go. Now back here, we got a Snake Mountain in the background and everything like that. And I see over here, see that? That's Castle Grayskull. That's pretty cool. And then over on the side. So all of this, as far as I could tell, this is pretty much what's on the side here and whatnot. So that's really cool. I like that. I think that's actually really cool. And this is actually neat because if you kept this, you could put the figures in there even when you're done or whatever. If you're keeping that packaging, this is pretty neat. This overlay here. I don't know. Because this is so utterly unique, I may keep this. Just like I kept the packaging, even now, even after I threw away a lot of the other packaging, I kept the packaging for Motherboard because I just thought it was ridiculously unique. So, there they are. Looks like I've got some cords to cut, so I'll unbox this and be back to talk about it. Okay. Here's the little skeleton guy. This is Skilled Skeleton. And right off the bat, we do have a bit of a problem. His big old head, he's like a pop. He's like one of the girl pops, though. And he has trouble standing up. Like, I had him there for a second. He doesn't move well. His foot, let me see. Sorry, let me hold the focus here. His foot like that. He goes, well, nah, there, you can kind of side. It's giving me a lot of, like, it doesn't want to move, and I don't necessarily want to force it too much because I don't want to break it, because it's an exclusive, but I'm sure after I move him around a little bit, he'll move better, but for the most part, and like his hands, they got a spin, and they got, of course, this way, and right now he's got the heart-shaped hand that he's using right now. I think he's supposed to be glow-in-the-dark, which is cool, but there, I got him standing up. You can do it, but you got to mess with him a little bit. It's a little tough. He has two straight, like, slappy hands. And then he also has two rock-on hands. That's the best way I could put them. They give the little sign. They rock on. And that's him. That's Skilled Skeleton. He doesn't really come with anything. He's got his little Skeletor armor going on. And he's fine for what he is. I expected him to be like a goofy little thing. So I'm not really let down necessarily. I think the only thing I could say is that, like, he does not move well. Like, which I guess I wasn't expecting him to. But you get the idea. When I first reviewed this, when I first talked about it, when it was first coming out, I did mention I did not buy this pack for him. I knew that. Now that I've seen him, he's fun and goofy, and I'm sure that I'll find a place for him on the shelf, and I'll have no problem with him whatsoever. he's enjoyable enough that he honestly doesn't bother me. He's kind of cool. But the whole reason for buying this was to get him. Let's start with the base Skeletor design before we go any further, before we talk about some of the stuff that he came with and everything like that. I'm going to mess with him a little bit, get him to stand up. This is his little necklace thing. Luckily, we could take that off. There. I mean, it's fine that it comes with this, but like, on a personal level, of course, he fell. On a personal level, I don't care about this. It can just go back there. Now, what I really care about is him. He was the reason I bought the pack. He was the reason I wanted the pack. Now I've got him standing up. And he comes with the stuff that this one came with. As you could tell, there is a real difference in paint deco here. It's mild. It's only really on the armor. It's this nice reflectiveness. It's pretty cool. It's a sparkly, metally feeling. I don't even know how to explain it. You can kind of see it right now where I'm showing it to you. You can tell what I'm talking about, right? It's got this sparkling to it. I got a little bit of a scuff on my face. I don't like the fact that that's a thing. I feel like these should be double inspected because these are like collector's exclusives. If I have to go out of my way to get them on Mattel Creations, then there should never come a figure that ships auto broken or with like bad paint ops. I don't think this is bad to where it like hurts anything. I think I'll be fine, but I noticed it and that bothered me a little bit. The green of the skull is different too. Not by much, but I notice it. Do you see it? That it's a slightly different green as opposed to the other Skeletor. This is a little brighter on the face. This is a little greener, I guess is the best way to say it. And maybe I'm wrong. Let me go ahead and put this out there. I'm colorblind. Yes, that is not an exaggeration. I'm not making something up. I am red-green deficient. And that makes this color really difficult for me to determine. See, if I move back a little bit, it looks yellow. And if I move in a little bit, it starts to look green. And so it's really difficult for me to determine 100% what I think that color is. I will fight with it probably my entire life, in all honesty, without ever 100% being perfectly sure. The same as his armor, they did with the swords and everything as well, too. So that means that his sword has this metal look to it, which I actually like that a lot better. And it also translated to the staff. So the Havoc staff also has that darker metal look, which I actually like quite a bit. Those differences alone are worth it. He gets the same hands, but he got 2 heart hands. That's what these are. These are not gripping hands, they're heart hands. They literally allow him to do this. Oh, Skeletor. That's what he does. See, right there, he can have the heart hands. And then he got this rock hand, which is actually pretty cool. I have no idea what I'm ever going to use that for, but it's awesome and I love it. Then the star attraction, the reason we wanted him, and the reason I now have to figure something out. He came with other faces. Right now, they've got the same face. Looks like if I pinch the cheek a little bit, you could pull the face off. Face off? Can you do that with this Skeletor? If you can, it's really in there. If it can be done, it is really in there. I don't want to test it and break something. That's crazy on the inside. Look at that. That's wild. But he came with this face right here. So you reach in, you put that face, and then he's got the Concernicus face. So he got one of the meme faces from all the memes that you see on the internet, which is really awesome. Oh no! Like he's turned around concerned that there's a different Skeletor behind him. Look at that right there. See what I'm getting at? Perfect. That is awesome. And then he came with another face, which is the straight up scared Skeletor. Oh! Awesome. Different faces. Now, I could be justifying my FOMO. I realize that. But this might be perfect. First off, look at this. One of my favorite things is dumb-faced Skeletor. And now, I have a cartoon version of the dumb-faced Skeletor, basically. Which is a lot more meme-happy. Look at that right there. I basically got him, but I got him in a cartoon version. There's him, and him. Is that not perfect? I love that. I love everything about that. Like, I absolutely love that he came with that face. And that I can even do that at all. Put that staff a little further down. We're going to move his knees in a bit so he kind of has better balance, because he's really giving me troubles here. There. Perfect. Exactly like my dumb face, but with the cartoon version Skeletor. And I can use any of these faces to play around at any time to make him as menacing, or as fun, or as scared, or as dumb as I want him to be at any time. I will admit the faces are a little tough to take out. You basically pinch the cheeks and push it in, and then you got him. But yeah. This is awesome. This is awesome. And just for the sake of... Oh. His face just fell off. Oh, okay. Now we gotta go find his face real quick. I was about to put that. This is only for this hand here. So, yeah, but I can do this one. And then kind of have the same situation that I already have going on with my dumb face, where he can kind of have his hand that comes out like this, and then I can do the face here. Cartoon version, dumb face Skeletor, scared face Skeletor, whatever you want to call him. This is awesome. Was it worth it? It wouldn't be hard to argue that I'm justifying my FOMO. I'll be honest with myself. Before we even get started, that's very possible, very real. But it's limited. Only so many people got it. The chance that these swapped faces are going to be on other characters is low. We have the articulated jaw Skeletor. It's only on 1 or 2 figures. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of these in the Origins line do not reuse the faces all too often. What do I mean by that? Dumb-faced Skeletor has that face, and he's like the only one that was released like that I could think of. Then there's the Armor Skeletor, which has like the super grumpy face, and the other more normal face. Then the Skeletor that came out that was more like Variant 2, had the normal face, but didn't come with the other face. So it's possible that if you're going through, because like there's the 2002 Skeletor face, or the 2000X Skeletor face, that doesn't come with any other Skeletor. the super grumpy face that I know of doesn't really come with any other Skeletor. The evil pack, the Evil Warriors pack thing, has a face that doesn't come with any other Skeletor. It is not that uncommon for these Skeletors to come out with a face, or a He-Man to come out with a face that does not launch with anybody else, which makes you kind of go, crap, now I need every single figure. That plays to FOMO. If you want the heads, sometimes you don't have any choice but to buy the same figure you already have to get another head. That's a massive reuse. It's a massive reuse that tries to justify buying the same character over and over and over and over and over. Sometimes it's more than acceptable. Battle Armor Skeletor, I would argue, is more than acceptable. It has a different head, and it's a completely different variant. 2002, so-and-so, 2000X, yada yada. You get the idea. And we talked about this before in the stepping away from Origins line video that I did. It's easy to look at it and get tired of the reuse, while at the same time, I think that I have no regret here. For the sword, the armor, the faces, the slightly different detailed paint, I don't feel like I wasted money here. I think this is actually really solid and really cool, and I think I'm happy with it. It is definitely going on the shelf. It's not going anywhere else. I enjoy it quite a bit, and I think it worked out for the best. I really like this. I really do. I could complain. There are things I could complain about, but I don't think that anything really bothers me that much. Normally, I would not justify a slightly different color app. But I have in the past. I mean, I like Anti-Eternia He-Man, He-Skeletor, things like that. I've liked those things and talked about how they're just really just different color He-Men, and he made fun of it and everything. And so maybe it's because of that I can more easily justify that I did want this, and I wanted the faces, and I wanted the memes, and I wanted the fun of being able to use him for possibly more comedy skits and whatnot as I mess around, and I could change his face and do different things, and he's going to be fun. And you know what? That right there is the final justification that, FOMO or not, he's going to be fun. And I think this is something that gets lost a lot of the times with toys. What are toys? They're fun. That's what they should be. And anytime you buy one and it's fun, there you go. There you go. You're done. You've completely justified it. It wouldn't matter if this guy cost $100 if you can get $100 of fun out of him. As far as I'm concerned, justified. I like him. I think he's awesome. I like his three faces. I'm going to enjoy having him around. And in the end, that's all that really matters about this. I've now added the V-Friends Skilled Skeletons Skeletor Masters of the Universe pack to the shelf. And I think I love it. Later on.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.